Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for those that are joining us. Our attendee count is increasing as we speak. Thank you very much. For those of you that are joining us, thank you for joining us and spending the first part of your day with us. I want to make sure that we get everything out here for you. Let me just set up my speaking notes as well. Allow me a moment. We'll just wait till our numbers increase, and then we'll go ahead and start. Those that are joining us, already up to 24 on the count. Thank you, Adriana, Ariel, Cecilia, Charlie, Courtney, Deborah, Gary, Jean, Gisela, James, Jennifer, Jessica, Jim, Karen, Luisa, Maggie, Naomi, Patricia, Peggy, and Rachel for joining us so far as the numbers increase. Oh, also, Andrew, if you can, please think of a trivia question, either within your presentation or something that people would know, because we are giving away two pairs of tickets for the Air and Sea show. We'll ask you to ask the question at the end of your presentation, and then Ceci will do the other one as well. So we have two pairs to be given away. All right, let's get started. We're slowly increasing, but I don't want to keep anybody any further. I know it's a busy day and you got things to do. So we shall begin. Allow me 1 second to reduce into speaker mode. Get my notes. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Miguel Pena, president of the Southern Florida Concierge Association. Thank you for joining us again on this, which marks our 24th Zoom call to the day. May 26, 2020 was the first time we had the call. On that call, we had Rolando Aedo, we had Ceci Velasquez, we also had Wendy Clergis, and it was a very awkward time because we didn't know what the future held. So 24 calls later, we're here. And reason we did it originally was to inform our colleagues and hospitality partners of what we know. Information is best when it's shared. Since then, we've culminated into a monthly information center. Thank you to Andrew from the GMCVB, his in-depth knowledge, as well as Ceci, always giving us the honest truth of what's happening in South Beach. An extended thank you to our past panelists, which includes Wendy, who's been on quite a few times, as well as Gisela Marti from the GMCDB, and all of those people that have joined us as first-time panelists, and particularly all the people who have joined us from the beginning, many of our Zoom call participants. Thank you very much. A special recognition to all of our sales teams, hotel managers, support staff that are on the call. We truly appreciate your support. This has become or culminated into a call not only for concierges and hotel managers, but sales teams as well. This is the only call, to my knowledge, that we actually share all the stats and data that the GMC so eagerly produces every single month, and they share it with you. We, in turn, after the call, in our post notes, we send you the PowerPoint, which you will receive. For those of you joining us for the first time on this call, we will share dates, facts, figures, stats of South Florida tourism. We also have some entertaining and informative facts that we hope you will enjoy. COVID has been a wake-up call for many. Now we have the fears of a possible recession. How will that trend in South Florida economy? We'll soon find out. We have learned to pivot and change how we think and how we live. COVID has also taught us that we do not know our true abilities. We will endure and be stronger in the end. Another busy month in South Florida. We're gearing up for Memorial Day weekend, the official beginning of summer. Also, the Air and Sea show is this weekend. We're going to get more information, but more importantly, we've got tickets. We're going to be giving away 2 pairs of tickets, 1 pair for Saturday, 1 pair for Sunday. So at the end of Andrew's chat, as well as the end of Ceci's chat, again, make sure you're familiar with the chat feature. We will be asking you a question. The first person that answers it properly will receive a pair of tickets. We will email you the link. You'll be able to print those tickets or utilize them on your phone or Android device, whatever the case may be, and enjoy the show, compliments of Ceci and the Air and Sea show. Let's see. With that, our panelists this morning will be Bilal Hashwi, the proprietor of Zoom Ride, a share ride service. You've heard of Lyft. You've heard of Uber. There's others out there, including Zoom. We're going to hear more about that. We'll have Andrew Wobensmith from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau giving us all the latest stats and data on what's going on in South Florida tourism. And then an executive director of Ocean Drive Association, Ceci. So with that, as you can see on your screen, we already have the Zoom prompt up. I'd like to introduce you to Bilal Hashwi. Bilal, the microphone is yours. Please go, kind sir.
Thank you, Miguel, and thank you everybody for inviting me today. That was a good introduction. Actually, it's called Zoom Ride, so there will be no confusion with the other Zoom, the video company. Thanks, Miguel. As Miguel mentioned, there's now a third company called Zoom Ride. We launched soft launch a couple of years ago during COVID in Michigan, and now we did soft launch in South Florida in the fall, and as of May 4th, we started advertising as a hard launch in South Florida. Zoom Ride is an innovative rideshare service recently launched, as I mentioned, with unique safety and personalized features. We have affordable prices, and we are actually more than rideshare. We are rideshare like Uber and Lyft, but also we offer Zoom tours, which is people can request private tours in their cars from the app. And this will be coming up soon in South Florida, the Zoom tours. For some reason, the screen is not going down. Okay,
there you go.
Thank you. So I'd like to talk about usually when we hear the word rideshare, we know there's a lot of problems with rideshare: insecurity, sexual harassments, underpaid drivers, and lack of customer service from some other companies. And that's how we built the app. We built it with the focus on safety and well-being. That's the difference between us and hopefully other companies. We filled the gap by making the app more safe, more reliable, and personal app. We have some of our own vehicles right now in South Florida. We have a few Teslas and few Honda Odysseys until we have more drivers. We have approximately 2,000 drivers signed up in South Florida. Of course, those drivers, they drive for Uber, Lyft, and us. And we're just in the process of advertising for customers so we can have the drivers turn the app on, because a lot of them are just waiting for the customers. So what is the difference between us and Uber and Lyft? Or other, I'm not going to mention names, between us and other companies, sorry. We have some companies, there are currently thousands of sexual harassment cases reported. So we focus on safety, as I mentioned. For example, we have an SOS button in the app. If someone presses the panic button in the app, the camera from the passenger's phone or driver's phone, whoever presses the panic button, we can see live in our office, live video, what's going on in the car. Can call the passenger, the driver, or the police and let them know where the car is. So I'll talk about all these features that almost nobody has them. This is a great feature for safety. Another one, for safety or for religious purposes too, female riders, they can request female drivers. Currently, 1/3 of riders are female, so that will encourage more females because some of them, they don't feel comfortable being with stranger drivers. So that will help increase the market share. We have verbal disclosure. Every rider, he receives 4-digit password to when he requests a ride. When he goes in the car, he'll give that passcode 4-digit to the driver. The driver will take it from him. He will activate the ride. What does that do? That helps to make sure that this is the correct passenger for safety, and to help both driver and passengers make sure he's not going the wrong place. Because sometimes if there's a lot of cars outside, you could go in the car in the wrong vehicle, and then the driver, after one block, you still tell him, "Hey, why are you going this way? I'm going the other route," because that's not him. This way we'll make sure you matches them. All drivers, we do face verification randomly to drivers. So to make sure he is the correct driver, not to give the car to his friends to drive it, because we do background check and we want to make sure all drivers are, valid drivers and secured. We have telematics in the app where we can monitor every ride. If the driver is speeding or does sharp turning or he hold the phone in his hand, we can tell, or drunk, we can tell. So hopefully that will prevent also a lot of problems in the current rideshare market. So we have more features, like, for example, drivers can be requested by language spoken. If someone comes from, let's say, from Puerto Rico and does not speak English, or from another country, and comes to Miami, he wants a driver that speaks his language, Spanish. All drivers, they put all the languages they speak in the app. So automatically the system will match a driver that speaks his language, if one is available. If not, then any other driver will come over. We'll try to make the app more personal, and this way, and they feel people more safer this way, or safer. And one of the good features is favorite driver. Currently, with some other platforms, they have star system. You can just put 1 star, 2 star, 4 star for the driver or passengers. We have that feature, but it does not help much. We want to make it more personal. So if you like the driver, you can, or his service, you can put them as favorites in the app, up to 10 drivers. Next time you order a ride, if one of those 10 people are, or 10 drivers, or how many drivers are close by, they will dispatch to you automatically. So you have the same driver all the time, if possible, if you like it. And there's a lot more features we can talk to about. Booking for others is a lot easier. We will have free Wi-Fi in some vehicles in the future. And there's more ways to pay drivers that can get paid more. We pay them approximately, depends on, usually about an average about 30 to 50% more than the other companies that get paid, the drivers, because our overhead is cheaper and we have different ways to save money. Like, other people cannot cheat us, like by saying the driver was drunk, and he's not drunk, because we know we monitor them. So what is the purpose of this meeting? Mostly for me is to let you know that there is a third company. We are already approved at the airports, at Fort Lauderdale, Miami airports, West Palm Beach airport, Port Everglades, to pick up customers from there. So there's only us, Uber and Lyft, as rideshare. And would like to ask for your help. If you can just refer your friends, family, customers, clients to us, and we are given incentives to our partners who refer people to us. We are given $20 coupon actually to drivers who sign up with us, and I gave Miguel lots of those coupons. And I think he passed out to lots of you. I'm sure he did. I'm sorry that I think so. If you refer you give coupon to your customer, and if you'd like to put your referral code on the back of the card, when they sign up and they put your code, you will receive $5 for every customer you refer once they do 2 trips. So it's easy. Just you get the card. If you don't have cards, I'll be more than happy to send you cards. Put the referral code, your referral code. I'll tell you where to get it, and give them coupon, $20 coupon. They like it. They get the benefit. You get the benefit. You have 10 customers a day. That's $50 easily. And the most important thing is not the money, is the safety and the well-being that we care about. That's what our focus is, to make sure people are safer and they enjoy their rides. I'm going to send Miguel a copy of this, but I think Miguel already has something similar to it. How to get the referral code. When you download the Zoom Ride Passenger app, you can scan the code down here or from the coupon, and you can what do you call it? Actually, I'm sorry, this is a different one. Yeah, you make your other account, of course. So when you make it, you go on the top left corner on the menu, you press on it, you go down to referral and points, and then this is where you get your passcode or your referral code. You give that code to your customers or your friends and family or yourself. You get $20 coupon. They use it for 4 times. And of course, they can share it to other people. You don't have to have the card.
Perfect. Thank you, Bilal.
Just quickly, those are some coupons that we did. And thank you very much. I'd like just to ask if there's any questions. Feel free to email me at Bilal@myzoomride. This is my cell phone number, 313-433-1098. And I'd like to ask you if you think you have any comments, any feedback, if there's any way you think you can help us spread the word and grow in South Florida and help your clients and guests, let me know. If you want me to change the referral ideas, I'll be more than happy to work with you as partners to make people have better and safer rides.
Perfect. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Question for you, Bilal. When you mentioned the list, you didn't mention Port of Miami. Is that included in the list? You're approved by Port of Miami?
Actually, I do apologize. I did not do Port of Miami. I just called them yesterday, actually, and they said we can get the approval in 1 day. Okay. That's easy with them. The other ones, they were more difficult. So I'm gonna hopefully do it tomorrow.
Okay, very well. And then also, Ceci's already downloaded. Thank you, Ceci. Nicholas Perez has a question. Can the service be used for deliveries?
Right now, no. We have another app coming up in a few months that will be for delivery only. Delivers everything. But I mean, it could be food, but it's not for food. But delivers almost everything. It's another app coming up.
Point-to-point delivery, so like paperwork or a box or something within reason.
Paper box, furnitures, whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff. I should be talking about it, but it's it's a very nice feature. Very nice app. Different app completely.
Excellent. And then Jennifer Nielsen had a great question. How can we get some literature put into our offices? Jennifer, if you want to email Bilal directly, his information's at the bottom of the screen. You can certainly reach out to him and he'll be more than happy to send you the information. Bilal, you'll be sharing this PowerPoint with us so we can send it to everybody as well. So they have the QR code and they can scan it and then they can start referring business as well as taking advantage of the $20 offer that you're offering. Is that fair?
Thank you. If I may ask a question, like
sure.
If I have, for example, flyers and I have coupons. So if they would like me to send them directly to them, so I don't bother you, Miguel, I'll be more than happy. They can email me, or I can have someone stop by and drop them off. I can have just flyers or coupons, and that would be helpful.
Yeah, we'll have them both. Ceci has a good point. We're going to email everything. This way you have an electronic version of it. But Jennifer, if you want to reach out directly to Bilal at myzoomride.com and then give him your information, he'll be more than happy to accommodate you with any printed collateral that you may need.
I hope not just Jennifer. I hope everybody does that too. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to stop the screen share, Bilal, and then I can
Thank you.
Have Andrew queue up. Andrew, go ahead and queue up. Thank you to everyone. Andrew, let's see, there we go. There we go. So
All
for
right.
those of you who haven't joined us, this is not only one, but the most impactful. It's all the information that you don't get anywhere else, just here so far. And we've got the Director of Research and Business Intelligence. Imagine having a title like that. Andrew Robin-Smith from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me this morning on this call. And yeah, a really fancy title. I don't think I'm really that fancy of a person, but I do
think you
enjoy the
are.
title sometimes.
I think you are.
And, thank you for asking me. I've been coming here now, I guess, since August of last year. I've missed 1 month, but I really do enjoy the opportunity to come on here every month and talk about tourism. If you work in research, and there's probably a few researchers on this call, if you work in research or work with data, sometimes the most rewarding part of it is getting to share the results of your labor. And so for me, I find it really interesting what's going on here in Miami-Dade County and tourism in general. And it really is a privilege to come here every month and talk to you folks about what we're seeing here in our industry. So it's going to follow much the same format we've done for the last 8-9 months now. Today, I'm going to talk about industry performance in 2021, where we netted out. I'm going to talk a little bit about economics and some of the consumer sentiment stuff that we see. Then I'll focus on how we're seeing industry here on the ground perform, including F1. I know there's some questions about how F1 performed in our market. And then finally, we're going to talk about some future looks, some of the factors that we see going on that may affect tourism in the future. And of course, a Q&A if you have any questions about anything that I cover or anything that I don't cover. So with that, we'll get started. Real quickly here, again, I talked about this. 2021, we're going to talk a little bit about how we did in 2021. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. This is the cover of the report that I put out every year. It's on our website. If you're interested in getting it, you can scan that code or you can click the link at the bottom. That will take you to our website, download this report that I put together every year. And then this report contains all the goodies, all the stuff, all the statistics related to our industry last year, including hotel, visitation, where our visitors said that they go, what they do while they're here, just the full gamut of things that we cover every year. So I encourage you, if you're looking for more information about how we're doing here as an industry, certainly go download this and look at this at any time you'd like. So today I'm going to share a little bit about what those results were. Visitor volume and spend. Visitor volume meaning the number of people that actually came to Miami-Dade County and spent time here in our county. We look at our visitors in two different ways. We look at domestic visitors, which are people in the United States, obviously, without Florida. We look at international, and we look at Florida resident. And then among those three groups, we look at what's an overnight visitor, who's somebody who's staying in Miami-Dade County for at least one night, or a day visitor, which is somebody who is not staying in Miami-Dade County and visiting for whatever it is, a day or more. Sometimes people struggle with that concept. It could be somebody from Brazil who is in Florida and staying in Fort Lauderdale, but if they come into Miami-Dade County and they come here for the day, they are considered a day visitor. So that may be more useful to some of you people. So in short, in 2019 was a record year for tourism for us. We had just over 24 million visitors. 2021, we met the volume of visitors that we did in 2019. And honestly, that is just absolutely incredible. I don't think that there's a destination like ours in our entire country, who knows where else, that could really say that. That could say that not only did we have a record year in 19, we actually met and truthfully exceeded by a few thousand people the number of visitors that we had in 2021. And we did that without a lot of the international markets. We did that with the cruise industry not being back online completely. And we did that without as many meetings or conventions. So that is amazing. And that was driven mostly by the domestic market and the demand for tourism here in Florida and certainly in Miami. Among that, down at the bottom there, that table just shows how much they spent while they were here in market. And what we see in 2019, our visitors spent $17.9 billion. In 2021, we saw an 8% increase over 2019. So that's fantastic. We know that, again, I don't think there's another destination that can say these very things. So just be very proud. I'm very grateful when I look at these conditions out there. I look at not just our numbers, but I look at the numbers of other destinations. And I just say, oh my God, there are a lot of other destinations out there, the big destinations like Los Angeles and New York, that are not going to be able to say anything like I just said. So again, be grateful. We really we really have something that's in demand here. So let me just move on from that. If you're wondering who came here this last year, looking at our domestic markets, New York City, these are the normal players, but New York City was en masse. If we're looking at the volume of people, as well as that percent change from 2019, because that's really where we're comparing ourselves, we see that there are tremendous double-digit increases among most domestic markets in their visitation to Miami-Dade County. This is domestic overnight, not talking about the day tripper, but they follow a similar pattern. I'm looking at these markets, Orlando, Tampa, Palm Beach, Naples. We did see a little bit of softness in some of these markets in terms of overnight visitation. I would say that's contributed to two things. One being the cruise industry not being completely online. A lot of Floridians, probably half of the cruise people coming here are Floridians. So with the cruise industry not quite running at full capacity, we saw that Florida visitation was down. We also have noticed that with these other areas opening up, there are more options. And a lot of Floridians, they opted to go to some of these other destinations instead of Miami. So those are the two explanations that we can find that would explain why we saw a little bit of softness from Floridians. But overall, that volume, as I mentioned, was very substantial. Internationally, the number one market we had was Colombia. And not only was it Colombia, it was Colombia by a long shot. As a matter of fact, it was a record year. We had about 35% more Colombians here in 2021 than we did in 2019. And then those secondary markets, Ecuador, Argentina, Mexico, who are all very close in volume. While you don't usually see them in our top 10, this last year you did. So, we don't have European markets in there, obviously, although some of these markets like Canada, while they were down drastically, they were starting to make some comeback, particularly towards the end of last year. Economics and sentiment. This is probably my favorite part, right? I'm not an economist, but I like when I talk about tourism, I feel like I'm a weatherman and talking about what's going on here, what we're seeing, where we think we're going to go. So I always like to talk about the economics going on and the consumer sentiment, because I think that's really important. Now, does it always affect our market? No. Some of the things that we hear and see on a national level or even on a global scale don't necessarily mean that they're going to manifest themselves here in our market. However, they can, and every market's affected differently. So I feel like I would be doing a disservice by not talking about some of the things that are out there. I will say that back in, and I learned a lesson, back in January 2020, I was giving a presentation to a group of people that were in town. And as many of you know, in January 2020, we just had another Super Bowl. We had we have more Super Bowls here in Miami than anywhere else. I talked at length about how well we were doing Super Bowl. I was talking about our hotel rates were at record highs. Talked about how things like Virgin, we had the Virgin trifecta going on here, right? We had a hotel being built. We have a ship sitting here, a brand new red ship sitting at Port Miami, ready to go. We have a high-speed rail, the Virgin line. And I talked about all these things. And then 2 months later, COVID hit, and here I was, well, okay, now we have the lowest rates that we've ever had. Oh, the cruise industry is closed. No, nobody is coming here. So I think I've learned a lesson, right? I want to be able to balance out the things that I'm talking about here with a little bit of both. So economically, let's talk for a few minutes about what we're seeing here. I always talk about the national traveler sentiment because I think this is a good barometer of what we see going on here and what we may have to expect here in our market. Longwoods is one company that's been using a tracking survey for the past 2 years. Some of the same stuff that I've been sharing for the last several months, but some little anecdotal differences, I think, over the last several months. Demand for travel is still strong. We still see pent-up demand. Most people who are travelers are saying they have plans to go in the next 6 months. COVID is not a concern for most people when it comes to travel. However, rising costs of air travel, gas prices are continuing to be a problem for people. However, that said, with the rising cost of gas prices, very few consumers are saying that they're going to cancel a trip due to these rising gas prices, which is obviously good news. Some of the ways in which they're going to adjust their behavior, they may stay closer to home. They're going to reallocate some of their spend on some of these other things like retail and food. However, they are going to definitely monitor and potentially change some of the ways in which they spend their money for these upcoming trips. So this other study I found was really interesting to me because I think it laddered in really well with these results, but also in some of the other things that we're seeing. And I just found it really fascinating. I'm going to share a few things and then I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about. They talked about inflation as well. that it's impacting some summer travel plans, but also some credit card habits that I think are interesting. First stat, 58% of Americans, they're saying that inflation is impacting their summer vacation plans. That's probably not a surprise to most people. However, these next stats I think are really interesting. 1/3 of travelers say that they're likely or very unlikely to apply for a new card before taking a road trip this year. I found that really interesting because it does talk about economics. Last year, as we've come to learn, one of the main drivers, one of the main things behind the tourism that we saw here was that there was a pent-up demand, but there was also a lot of savings. People were sitting on a lot of savings, and they also had a lot of stimulus money in their pockets, and that really translated into people taking these trips, particularly here to Miami. For Miami, for people who maybe didn't even come here in the past, or this was not the type of place they could afford to come to, last year, a lot of that money enabled them to do that. So I found it interesting that this year people are saying, or quite a few people are saying, that they're likely to just get a new card to essentially finance their next trip. And then while 32% of Americans said travel usually gets them into debt, 41% more people year over year would prefer to skip a credit card payment instead of a vacation, right? So if you talk about where our mindset is, people are so dedicated and motivated to travel that they would actually consider skipping a credit card payment as opposed to their vacation. And we talk about travel. Travel is one of those expenses. It's discretionary. It's disposable income. So if you have it, you travel normally. If you don't have it, you don't travel. So in this case, people may not have it, but they're going to travel anyway. And I think that's very important because we'll talk about how that could affect us in the future. And finally, we see that just over 1/3 of travelers said that they plan to use their credit card rewards to pay for a vacation, which is great. That shows that people still have a lot of interest in travel, and they're just going to find ways to do it. So inflation, how bad is it? We have to talk about inflation. That is the elephant in the room. I have to talk about this every month. Does it affect us or not? Well, it affects all of us. And that little meme to the right, that made me laugh when I first saw it. But honestly, it was a lot funnier before they crossed out to 7.5%, and now it's at 8.5%. So if you really want to understand where inflation is right now, well, I think we all know this at the pump. We're feeling this, a 48% increase in gasoline, used cars up 35%, but also hotel, airfare, rental. These are the biggest changes in inflation that we've seen in several decades. And, I point this out because, yes, there is an effect. Some of the things at the top of this list are the very things that drive tourism. And that's what's really important to understand, that it's not just about the money coming out of our pockets, but where is the inflation hitting the most? Again, gasoline, hotel rooms, airfare, overall, everybody is feeling it. It's not just me, it's not just you. So I want to put that out there as something that we do want to keep in mind. Now, does that, again, I'll say it again, does that necessarily mean that's going to affect us on the ground? Well, honestly, I don't think it really is all that much right now. It's certainly not visible, but I would definitely continue to talk about this and keep this in consideration as we continue to move forward. Consumer debt is increasing. And again, this kind of lends back to what I just talked about when it comes to debt and borrowing. We see consumer debt increasing at quite a substantial rate. So when we look at some of the debt that people are taking on, mortgage balances up, home equity lines unchanged, credit card balance is down, but they say that's a typical seasonal change. Auto loans are up, student loan balances are up. Now, I guess I'm just old enough to remember it was only $1 trillion a decade ago. Now it's at 1.6 trillion. So these are big numbers, right? And this is why I talked about, when I talked about 2 slides ago, is that I'm a little concerned that if people start to overextend themselves, if instead of being, maybe more responsible, instead they're saying, I really want to travel, now I'm just going to get a credit card and that's how I'm going to do it, that, they need to be a little bit more mindful of their upcoming expenses, because as inflation, and we don't really see any near end to inflation right now. So that does concern me a little bit, that people may extend themselves and may put themselves in a position where they may not be where they want to be. Consumer Sentiment Survey Index, I've shared this before, but I'm just going to share this and then we'll stop talking about some of these things. Consumer Sentiment Survey Index, this has been a part of a survey that's been done since 1966. And they compare the results of sentiment since 1966. And this is the lowest it's been in a decade. If we look here, looking at January 2020, we can see that financially, we all know that things were a little better back then. We were quite happy in terms of consumer sentiment, but that sentiment dropped during COVID and has not really recovered all that much. It recovered a little bit about a year ago, but unfortunately, we are seeing a lot less confidence than we did. And I bring this up again because confidence is very important when it comes to spending. From an economic perspective, I'm not an economist. I'm sure there's people out there in here in this audience that know more than me, but I know that from economics, that when we think we're going to be doing better in the future, we spend more money. We make decisions. We look at mortgages, we look at car loans, we look at spending more money. But if we don't feel like we're going to be doing well in the future, we start to tighten up. And that is really important when we understand travel. How do we feel about right now, where we're going to be in 6 months or a year? So let's keep that in consideration as we move forward. All right, enough of that negative economic talk. Let's talk about what is actually happening here on the ground. So some tourism industry performance. I want to talk a little bit about how we're really doing. How are we really doing? Well, if you've been on this call, you've seen me share this every month. This is what we call our daily demand indexes. It used to be daily recovery indexes. What we do is we look at these demand indicators in our market, looking at tourism and saying, well, where is the health of tourism? Where is the volume of people coming into the airport? Is it going up? Is it going down? Are we selling more hotel rooms? Are more people going out to eat who are coming here on vacation? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. We are crushing it right now. And as you can see here, this is comparing 2019. And the easiest way to look at this is to look at this dotted line on each one of these indices. And that will tell you that everything over that dotted line is performing in excess of 2019. So our air travel has picked up dramatically. Right now, we're seeing 20% more passengers through MIA than we were in 2019. We're selling more hotel rooms. There's more people in our restaurants. They are packed. So this is really good news. Again, we're seeing positive performance here on the ground. There has not been any let up in terms of demand for quite a while now. Taking just a moment here to talk about Port Miami, looking at the cruise volume. As we know, we just started going back online not too long ago. Actually, July of last year, technically, we started back. Looking at the average daily cruise passenger volume, it was down quite a bit. It has steadily increased. It's not where it was in 2019, which was a record year. However, you can see here that it's improving. Back in April, we actually saw it reach a point where we were about 70% of where it was in 2019. And I'm from the understanding that right now the cruise industry is really picking up. There's a lot of demand. There's actually a lot of difficulty I've been hearing people tell me in getting a trip booked. So I think that's very positive, and we're going to continue to see positive movement. It's picking up, and I'll continue to share this information as it comes out. How are we doing from a hotel market perspective? Well, to be fair, not everybody in this call is hotelier, and I keep that in mind as I talk every month. But hotel data is really important because we know that is the beating heart of our industry. If we don't understand what's going on at the hotels, then we don't understand what's going on in our market. So how are our hotels doing? Well, I think that orange line across the top should tell you that we are totally kicking butt here. We have been kicking butt for quite a while. Miami-Dade County is among the top 25 hotel markets. We are number one in terms of occupancy, in terms of our room rates, the ADR, looking at the revenue per available room. We are actually, look at Miami-Dade. I can't believe this. Normally we are dancing neck and neck. Oahu Island is actually higher than us. We're actually, for the year, we're beating them by like $65 a room. And that's pretty impressive. So I would say hats off to you folks. We have been getting these high rates. Will they continue? Well, I'm not really sure. We'll talk about that. But right now we are sitting pretty right now. So Formula One, I know we've been asked a few questions about this. How do we actually perform? So I put together two tables. What I did is I took the 4 days of Formula One, and on the left side here, you're seeing how the performance of our market looks like. But on the right, Fort Lauderdale. And of course, why do I pick Fort Lauderdale? Well, the race, this was our year one. The race is up in Miami Gardens, as you know. And so geographically, it's very close to Fort Lauderdale. So we knew that Fort Lauderdale was going to get a pickup, but we didn't really know how much. And so what we see here is that, yes, the room rates were fantastic. Here in Miami-Dade, our room rates were about double of what Fort Lauderdale was doing. However, interestingly, here in Miami-Dade County, we suffered in terms of occupancy. And interestingly, and if you're a hoteler, you probably know some of this. Some of the reasons I've heard for this is that a lot of hotels They anticipated groups, they anticipated high rates, they set their rates very high, and they got those, except they couldn't drop those rates when they needed to as they got closer to those days. So as a result, there were a lot of people that were ending up going to Fort Lauderdale and getting a room up there. And you can really see that bottom line, looking at demand, which are the number of rooms sold, looking at us in red and Fort Lauderdale in green. And you can see that we lost in terms of demand, which is what contributes to occupancy, versus 2019. And look at Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale had a tremendous pickup in demand over there. So I think that's really how it speaks. That's how we did in F1. F1 was a learning for everybody. I know that there were different things going on there. There were terms of, I know the track has some issues. There were some people said it was a little lackluster. So I think F1 year one was still a success. I think we're walking away with some knowledge. And I think this actually speaks to our industry and what happens when you're getting rates really, really high. There has to be, as we talked about, there has to be an end in sight, right, for these tremendously high rates. Here at our organization, we look at these rates every week and we're really blown away, right? And we shouldn't be blown away. We look at this stuff all the time, but these rates are incredibly high. So there has to be a point, right, where people stop paying so much money to come to a destination. But so far, they're seeming to pay it. These are some hotel numbers from the last week, the week ending May 21st. Again, we're up. That's the news. Occupancies are good. Room rates are high. RevPARs are high. Our neighbors to the north and south continue to do really well. I mean, here in our county last week, we were actually about 42% higher in terms of room rate than we were in 2019. We've been running 30 to 40%. So that is just fantastic news. It has not really slowed down yet. I'm very happy to share those things. Yesterday, I got our hotel forecasts from STR. They're going to give us really the view. And I will say that fortunately, STR has actually been a little conservative this year. We've been exceeding what STR has been saying we're doing. So I'm glad to say that. That wasn't some of the case in the past. But we can see here that according to STR, the next couple of months, the occupancy, it's going to pick up. It's not going to, nothing is terrible here. It looks like we're going to be close to where we were in 2019, maybe at some points, right on par. But we also see in August, September, October, where we're going to see a big change. And that change is because we're comparing to last year when the Omicron variant came on board. And we should start to see a little bit of softening. However, we do see a little bit of softening right now. Rates are going to continue to hold, although in this next coming 2 months, of the understanding that actually we predict that the rates will soften a little bit from last year as we're going into the summer. So very interesting to note that. Demand, it does not seem to really be letting up, and that's really great news as well. Put together 2 charts here. I think this sums it up for hotel and what we see going on. That top table is really where we see Memorial Day weekend in terms of what's already on the books. And we see how are we pacing versus last year? How are we pacing through 2019? And the story here is that actually we're falling behind in terms of pace. And that's really has a lot to do with the weekends here. This Memorial Day weekend, the pace is not what it was in previous years. And we can see the occupancy, historical occupancy was pretty high, but we're not predicting that it's going to be quite as high this year. And we can see here, the easiest way to look at this is look at this bar chart at the bottom. These bars represent the occupancy on the books for the next 90 days. And that's right now. And those yellow bars, I yellowed them because those are some periods, Memorial Day weekend, then we have 4th of July, and then we have Rolling Loud. Those are 3 traditionally high areas of occupancy here. And what we can see here is that last year, those weekends were quite a bit higher at this point in time for occupancy. Now, during the week, we're definitely meeting that. And then looking further out, looking at 45 days, 60 days out, we're actually exceeding. So that's good. That is a sign, like I've been talking about, of what's considered to be more normal booking behavior. In the past, and certainly last year, people were booking very short term. That's why you see those really big spikes on the weekends that we're not seeing as much now. But we see that behavior turn more normally where people start to plan. They don't necessarily, they might book now and they might not come to this market for 45 days or 60 days or more. So if you're looking to get an idea of where we're headed, that's where we're headed. Just a few minutes on international travelers. I got some information from a couple different sources that I found were interesting. People keep asking me about international travel, and it's a different story from each market. What we see here right now, that these inbound pre-departure testing requirements are affecting people. A lot of people, international travelers, are saying these are issues, but not just issues for them, issues to visit the United States. So nearly half of these travelers surveyed who are unlikely to travel abroad are saying it's the the test, it's the pre-departure testing requirements as a reason that they don't want to travel. So as well as a very large majority of people say that they're going to prioritize traveling to places that don't have these requirements. And that's something very interesting to note. So maybe we should look and hope that some of these requirements will be eased so that international travelers will feel more inclined to come and visit us. It matters, and why it matters, obviously, almost half of these people, these international travelers surveyed, say they'd be more likely to visit if these requirements were not in place. That, along with some visa issues that are continually get much worse. I thought this was an interesting stat. Wait times, average wait times for the top 10 inbound markets to the US that require a visa, they were 344 days back in November to 384 days, and now 419 days. So this waiting period is getting very, very, very long. It's not going to help us in terms of international travel. These are people that require a visa to come to our market. Now, people that don't require, they participate in our U.S. visa waiver program. They don't have those restrictions. However, they are charging more. We're charging more for them to come here. Now, it's not a lot of money. It is 50% higher than it was before, from $14 to $21. But, it is a deterrent. It matters. Why does it matter? Well, we have these wait times. We have people that are already potentially not considering our destination. Excessive wait times, cost of fees, this application process are some of the things that international travelers are saying discourages them, and not just discouraging travel, but discouraging coming to the United States. How does that translate here to activity on the ground? What I've done here is put together a chart for Miami International Airport. We track the number of international arrivals coming into Miami actually every day, but also looking at the weekly basis here. We have two periods of time here. From the beginning of the year, we have 2019 and 2022. The left bar blue is 2019 volume of international arrivals. That green represents what we see this year. And so what you can see here is that obviously international was much higher 2019, but we've been steadily closing the gap there. And actually more recently, we are almost, in terms of international arrivals, on par with where we were in 2019. That's really great news. It is a trend that continues to hold, particularly since the end of, I would say, mid to end of March. So we'll keep an eye on that. Once again, we see these trends on a macro level, but are they translating in the ground? Maybe not, maybe soon, maybe not. So in summary, I'm just going to wrap this up. 2021, record year. Congratulations. This momentum in tourism has gone from 21 into 22. Every single indicator that we're seeing on the ground is right now good. It's full steam ahead. Inflation's a problem, as we've talked about. However, travelers don't seem to be quite deterred, maybe extending themselves a little bit too much. Our travelers will probably tend to be price conscious. Hotel rates really far maybe they've hit a ceiling after a record run. We learned a few things from F1. This forecast says that no, rates and demand are continuing to be good. They'll surpass 2019, at least in the short term. Booking pace, hotel booking pace has slowed down. We see there's a little bit of softness right now, but we're also comparing to a really strong year last year. The pace, most importantly, further out is holding on. And of course, if pace is holding on, our room rates are staying fair, then I think we're happy. Finally, international travel. It's recovering well. We still see it being strong here in our market, but there are barriers out there that are going to deter people from coming here. So that's it, folks. Hopefully you got a few things out of that. Happy to answer questions, and that's it. Things are looking pretty good.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for another yet informative and educational piece. Anyone have any questions for Andrew? I have a question. It's time for Andrew to give us a question, and he alone will have the answer. Everybody ready on your chat feature? This will be for 2 tickets for Saturday for the Air and Sea show. So Andrew, you have your question ready? Go ahead and answer the question. I am ready. And first person to answer it correctly will win. Also very important. Just want to make sure we give fair role of play for everyone. So if you do win this first round, if Ceci asks the question the second round, if the winner of this one is disqualified, because we don't want somebody to win both prizes. We want to make sure we give ample opportunity to everyone. So Andrew, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, it's a 2-part question. So in 2021, it's 2 parts. In 2021, what was our top international market to Miami-Dade County? And the other part of that is, was it a record?
All right. So there's a question. I see Colombia, and yes. Is that correct?
Yes. Looks like Courtney.
No, actually, James.
Is it James?
James McLaughlin.
It's a two-part question. Remember, it's was it a record?
True. Okay, so Courtney.
Was it a record?
All right, James. Courtney, you won. Congratulations. Hope you and the girls can go to the Air and Sea show. We'll probably get you some extra tickets if they're in town as well. Courtney's a near and dear childhood friend of mine. We go way back when, but we're not share that at this moment. So thank you very much, Courtney. Sorry, James. It was a two-part question. Thank you very much, Andrew. Very important. As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt. Got to show the pride. If you watched the game last night, not as bad as the night before, but still not that good. So it's do or die for the Miami Heat. Coming up on Friday at 7:00, there's a watch party at the FTX Arena. Now, because our offices are located in downtown, we're part of the Downtown Neighborhood Alliance, also called the DNA. After the call, I will be sending you a link. If you click that link, it's open to the general public, but the DNA has reserved section 108 for those who want to watch the Miami Heat triumph and bring the championship back to Miami. If they do not make this game on Friday, it's all over. Boston wins after a long wait since 2010. If they do bring it back, then Miami does have a chance in winning, and they're on their home field. Again, the cost is $5. I will send you the link, and with that, you will get complimentary popcorn and soda. So I'll be sending that to you shortly. And now we are going to move on to Miss Ceci, who has a bit of a raspy voice, but she's a trooper and she's going to barrel through this. We're going to be talking about Air and Sea Show, which, by the way, thank you very much, Ceci, for your assistance in procuring those tickets for us, as well as giving us all the in-depth information that you rightfully always share with us. So thank you, Andrew. And now I move it on to Ceci.
I don't know what I sound like. Okay. I think I can do this. So sorry. At the end of a cold is when I lose my voice. So I am going to share my screen so you can see, if you don't mind. The city of, because if you can't hear me, you can see what I'm talking about. The city of Miami Beach has this new website, or it's called, I put it at the very beginning, ourcitymb.com, where you're going to be able to find everything with all of these events. So if you go to ourcitymb.com, you'll see, as you scroll down, many different things. And here it's Memorial Day weekend events, right? It's a full weekend. We're so excited. The Air and Sea Show started several years ago. It has done what we wanted it to do. It has become an all-encompassing, wonderful draw to Miami and Miami Beach. Not just Miami Beach, but also the greater area of Miami, probably the Fort Lauderdale area, the Broward area. We have a lot of people that are coming, and it has truly become this anticipated, family-friendly way to spend Memorial Day. So we do have the Air and Sea Show. There's a beach club. There are cabanas. There are VIP tickets, but it's also a free and open public display village. The military comes out. There's all these physical challenges going on. It's going to be a wonderful time. The beach viewing of the Air and Sea Show is from 1st to 21st Street, and it starts at noon and goes on till 5:30. That's on Saturday. There's a kids zone, and the kids zone has become very popular. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 on Lummis Park between 12th and 13th Street. So that's kind of on the northern side. It's going to be really fun for kids to go out there and really kind of get physical and get some fresh air. It's wonderful. There's a kids station the city of Miami Beach is doing at 5th, 8th, 10th, and 12th. So please bring the kids out, wear lots of sunscreen, make sure you have water. Goodwill ambassadors are out there to help maintain. And there's always some children that get lost. So there's always a Goodwill ambassador around to help with all of the kids. There is going to be a concert. They weren't able to do it last time, but there's going to be the concert. The music explosion begins at 5:30, and it features this international rock band, Three Doors Down, and the performances by some of the U.S. military and drill teams. So the entire thing is a wonderful experience. It begins at 5:30, and there's going to be fireworks at 9:15. Fireworks over the ocean on Lummis Park. It's wonderful. It's going to be really wonderful. Now, South Beach is not the only place that's celebrating Memorial Day weekend on Miami Beach. Miami Beach Rock Ensemble is going to celebrate its 50th anniversary concert. The doors open at 6 p.m. and it's at the Miami Beach Bandshell, which is in North Beach on 72nd Street. So it's 4 hours. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Get your tickets for that as well. This is an all-encompassing thing. Sunday, going back to the Air and Sea show again, there is a beach club. There are cabanas available, but the village going on in Lummis Park is a place family friendly again on Sunday. The beach viewing is from 12 to 5:30. 5 o'clock is going to be the last flight going over. The city of Miami Beach again will have their kids stations. And then we also have family day at the Bass Museum from 2 to 4, right? So there is something going on in Middle Beach at 24th Street, 21st Street at the Bass Museum. And they do that every month. And then, of course, my Ocean Drive Promenade series is going to happen on Sunday. It's a 1-hour series from 5 to 6, and it's going to be the new Deco Ensemble. So what I am able to put together right at 14th Place in the park by the El Bellagio is this magical quartet string ensemble. In April, we had jazz. We have committed to do this every single Sunday through the summer. The new Deco is going to be next Sunday, and then we'll go into the Miami Classical Music Festival. So it will be the alumni, we'll have Zarzuela, opera every single Sunday. This Sunday is not to be missed as well. So as you come out for Memorial Day weekend, wind down and bring a chair or a blanket and a picnic and enjoy the new Deco Ensemble on Sunday at 5, right there on Lummis Park. If you haven't been out, it really is truly magical. The Artscapes Collins Park always has this wonderful thing going on, and that's happening also on Sunday with the French Horn Collective, which is wonderful as well. If you haven't heard them, and they have small food vendors. So you're in Middle Beach and you want to walk down to Collins Park, they're also having activations. We are not in competition with each other. The most that is happening, more things that are happening in the city of Miami Beach, the more things that are walkable, the more parking that you can get to, the more things that you can experience, all the better. It's not like you're going to miss one thing and you're going to go to the other. It just fulfills the portfolio and it makes it a lovely place to be. Who doesn't like live music, by the way, right? And it's a wonderful thing to do. And then on Monday, it is Memorial Day. And every time we have this commemorative wreath that they do honor the American Legion, the veterans of foreign wars. They do honor and do tribute to all of our military who have paid the ultimate price for us. And that is truly what Memorial Day is about. And I encourage people to please come out and honor those that have sacrificed their lives for us, for our way of life in today's society with so much going on in the world. What we are seeing in the Ukraine, we need to really commemorate and pay homage to our veterans and our military who have fought for our way of life and let us be in a very free and open country. So I really encourage people to take that trip on Monday and do that one special thing for Memorial Day. But I also wanted to just show you this website where you can see anytime there is something going on Miami Beach, they're going to be populating this website, which is ourcitymv.com, and you can see all of the little details, the park, all the questions you might have. Traffic. There is going to be a traffic mitigation plan. There is not going to be a lot of parking. There is going to be traffic, two-way traffic. It is not a loop. We are not doing the loop like we used to do, but please, if you're coming out for Memorial Day, make your transportation plans early, use rideshare, come early. find your parking space and get give yourself ample of time to get wherever you need to go. Here's the free parking shuttles. The information is here. The city staffing, all of these different things are right here on this website. I thought it was really important to share it with you. That's what I have.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ceci. Charlie has a question. How do they find availability and pricing for the VIP beach seating for the Hyundai Air and Sea Show? Their website, I would imagine.
Website, correct. Their website.
All right.
I can share that with you, Miguel, if you want to send it out. I don't happen to have it.
Sure. No worries. I'll send it out. Does anyone else have any questions regarding this presentation? No, we've had a few drop off, but we do have 2 more tickets to give away. This is going to be for Sunday. I just checked the weather forecast. Chance of showers both on Saturday and Sunday, but we'll hope, as well as Monday, but we'll hope for the best. Okay, Ceci, ready for your, well, wait a second. We have chats. Let's see. Nope. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and ask your question. Everybody ready with the chat response?
Okay, so I have a 2-part question, and it's a
two-part.
little bit of a trick question, okay?
Okay, remember it's 2 parts. You have to answer both parts in order to qualify. Not one part, but both. Go ahead, Ceci.
The rock ensemble is celebrating what and where?
Okay, rock ensemble celebrating what and where? We are waiting for the chat. Okay, 59-year anniversary of the band shell. Is that correct?
It's 50. It's the 50th. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of the
50th anniversary of the band shell. So
Charlotte got it right. Charlotte got it right.
Charlie, perfect.
But it is the Miami Beach band shell.
Miami Beach band shell.
Little bit of a name change there. It's the Miami Beach band shell.
Okay, so Charlie, congratulations. You are the proud winner. Let me see if I have any other questions. No, perfect. Excellent. Any questions for Bilal, Andrew, or Ceci before we conclude the call? No? All right, let me just go to my notes real quick. Allow me a second. All right, to all of our servicemen and women, as Ceci said, thank you for your ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Oh, go ahead, Ceci.
Sorry, let me add. So Charlotte said Bernadette Penis is having a new date. I will say that we're looking at spring break, and we're looking at those concerts, and we're looking at different variations, and we're really looking at the best way that we can deal with March next year, March and April. It may not be that we have those concerts like we had this year. I don't believe that Bernadette Peters is going to be rescheduled. That was specifically for March and April, and to address some of the spring issues that we have. So I do want to tell you that we are still talking about different iterations and what is the best for our guests and how to deal with our tourist destination and make the most of that tourist destination. So it may not be exactly the way that we did it last year.
Okay, thank you very much, Ceci. To all the servicemen and women and their families, thank you very much for your ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. To all of our first responders as well, thank you very much. You are usually the ones that are running to the emergency where everyone else is running away from the emergency. It's easy to make a buck. It's tougher to make a difference. Let's strive to make a difference in the lives of others. It's a crazy time we live in, no doubt, especially this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Start today, throughout the weekend, and possibly into next week. And if you see any serviceman in full uniform or any first responder, tell them thank you. Thank you for everything you do and the sacrifices you make on our behalf every single day. We will be emailing all this information out, Bilal's information, Ceci's information, as well as Andrew. Until next time, remember, go Heat, Friday night, 8:30. You can either watch it at the FTX or on TV. Let's pray that we will bring the tribute back home and not hand it to Boston in the Boston arena. Until next time, God bless, take care, be safe, and happy Memorial Day, everyone. See you in June. Bye-bye. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.